Hello, today we're gonna look at Codility Dominator problem. So we're gonna solve this problem in two ways, and we're gonna use Python. So let me first introduce the problem. The Dominator of an array A is the value that occurs in more than half of the elements in A. So for example, if you have 5 elements, you have to have more than 3 of that elements. In this case, there are 5 threes, and therefore in arrays that have 8 elements, therefore 5 is more than half of 8, and therefore 3 is the dominator. And we would have to return index of any array, so we can return 0 or 2 or 4 or 6, and it should return -1 if array A does not have a dominator. So this is a pretty simple counter problem. In Codility there are some other ways to do it. There is a brute force way of doing it, which is using O of n squared, that you have to do 2 for loops and count every elements from the first element to the last element, but that would be so inefficient. So in Python we actually have a library and method we can use called counter. So we're gonna use that. You would have to import collections first, and we will also have an edge case where array A is empty. So, and if array A is empty, the half would also be 0. So there is no way there can be any dominator. So if length of A is 0, we're gonna do return -1. With that said, we're gonna call this counter called collections.counter. Don't forget this is capital C, and after this we're gonna print out as a tuple. And we can also have most common, and this method will give us a tuple. So this is a dictionary, and this will give us a tuple of the one most common item, which would be most common tuple equals this, and if we print out this, it would be 3, 5. So 3 is the element, as you can see here, and 5 is the frequency of this element. So we would have to see element is tuple 0, and the most frequency is most common tuple first value. So we would first have to see if most common frequency is smaller or equal to length of A minus divided by 2, and if it's true, we're just gonna return -1, and if this is not true, we're gonna we're just gonna use this and have a for loop, and for I in range constraints of ai is most common turn I, and we're gonna see if this works. We have a runtime error. Let's see, list index out of range. Where is this coming from? Line 15. Oh, so this has like one element and we have to do this. Yeah, so this is like tuple itself is the zeros element. Yeah, and output runtime error, most common is not defined, most common element, and yeah, we have passed this, and if we're gonna comment out these two print statements and submit, let's run test first. Yeah, so this is done, and as this might take a while, we're gonna start another session because we want to solve this again by using the leader by this lesson. So it has like 100% result, and yeah, it says O of n or O of n log n. I cannot see why this could be n log n. It should be O of n. This counter object would be just going through and storing all the frequencies in the dictionary. So the most drawback of this method is that we are using this clock counter, so we're gonna have an extra memory space using but with the leader we cannot do that. Okay, so what is leader? Leader is, this is kind of brilliant method. I've not seen this before, and the main concept of this is that if you have like a dominator, if you delete that dominator and the other dominator, non-dominator, the dominator will still be a dominator. So for example, let's say I'm doing this so that I can get this array. So in here, as we have seen before, 3 is the dominator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 5 elements out of 8. But what happens if we erase 3 and 4 together? It becomes 6 elements, and as we only erased 1, 3, it would be 4 elements out of 6. So it's still a dominator. And how about this? It's 3 elements out of 4. So it's still a dominator. And how about we erase these 2? It's 2 elements out of 2. Yeah, so it's still a dominator. So we can also prove this mathematically, but I mean, like, it's pretty intuitive this way, so we'll just carry on. So how are we gonna do this programmatically? Is that we're first gonna set a size equals 0 and value equals -1, and we're gonna do a for loop length a and see if size equals 0. So what we're doing now is that if size equals 0, when we first get to the first element, we're gonna of course increase the size and set the value as that value, which is a of I. And if size is not 0, there are two things we can do. If AI is also value, we're just gonna increase the size. And if AI is not value, we're gonna decrease the size. So that means if we have one value as like 3 and the next value would be 2, size will go back to 0, and we'll set the size value again in the next element. After we do this, we want to see if this value we have set is actually a dominator or not. So we're gonna loop, and before that, we can like check very quickly if the size is like 0 or not. So if the size is 0, return -1, and for I image of length of a, if I equals the value count plus equals 1. We're just gonna set the count to 0, and after doing this, we're gonna see count if count is bigger than length of a 2, then we're gonna set so we don't even have to do this. We have to do this and return -1. And after all of this is over, we can like verify that value is the dominator. So let's do another for loop, and this time if AI is value, we're just gonna return I itself. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it seems like it's working. I'm kind of a little bit worried to submit this, but let's do it. It has passed everything. So let's look at the space complexity and time complexity. The time complexity would be O of n. This would be O of n. This would be O of n. This would be O of n. So it's like 3 times O of n, but it would be O of n. And how about the space complexity? What kind of extra space are we using? We're only using size, value, and count. So there are only three variables we're using, so we're only using all of one space complexity. So arguably this would be like a better solution, but um, I'll I actually like using counter. They're like super useful. So it would be, if you're a Python user, it would be really useful. If you don't know about counter, you should like learn about it and get used to it, because if you don't, you would have to make a dictionary, and that would be like more efficient, like writing it. Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening, guys. Bye.